Hey, welcome back to JordanSamuel's Skin Talks. Let's get into another question. So this is a great question which I'm going to answer exactly as it's asked and then talk a little bit about, well, I'll just get to it. So, this person wrote, "My skin is sensitive, oily, and acne prone. What's the best way and how often should I exfoliate? My skin gets dull and a bit flaky if I do it once a week. Mild exfoliation every day only works in the cold months without causing increased sensitivity." Great question. So specifically for oily and acne prone and sensitive, I would go the way of an exfoliating mask, an exfoliating toner, sticking primarily with salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is oil soluble. It's the only acid that is oil soluble. So it's going to not only exfoliate on the surface and remove that dry, dead surface cell, it's going to be able to penetrate in the lining of the pore and clear out that oil, which is why salicylic acid is always recommended for treatment in acne. It's also anti-inflammatory, so then it's also going to help with sensitivity, which obviously sensitivity and inflammation is a huge issue with acne. It is an inflammatory disease. So that's sort of a win-win. And I would change it up with the season. Certainly with a salicylic acid based toner, even at a 0.5% strength, you don't want to be doing it every single day or twice a day every single day. Play around with it and see how your skin does. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. If the product says twice a day every day, that doesn't mean you have to do it twice a day every day. So just be really clear about that. But salicylic acid, whether it's in the form of a hydrating mask or a clay mask or an acid toner, that's going to be the best bet for oily, acne prone, and sensitive. You're sort of the perfect target for that ingredient. Separately, just a little bit more information about exfoliation in general. Don't necessarily follow trends, and also everybody's skin is wildly different. So if you are hearing somebody that's exfoliating twice a day every day with an acid toner and their skin is phenomenal, that's great. My skin would fall off, and so I wouldn't do that. I've tried to do that and I've seen the awful results. And sometimes people will start breaking out and getting really red and really irritated and think they need to exfoliate more because they have clogged pores, but actually what they have is a broken down barrier and their skin is actually angry and red and bumpy from bacteria getting on the surface because there's absolutely no barrier function or protection there. So really take all of that with a grain of salt. You don't want to do something just because the bottle said so, just because somebody on YouTube said so. Everybody's different. Everybody's skin is different. The season changes your skin. The seasons change your skin. Obviously, you're probably going to be doing something different or using a different product in the summer as opposed to the winter. There's a few different levels, and they are all forms of exfoliation. So the other thing too is don't compile them all up and be doing all of them all at once. You have your acids. You have your lactic acid, your glycolic acid, your salicylic acid. There's many other acids. There's tartaric and malic and citric and phytic. The main ones are lactic, salicylic, and glycolic. Lactic and glycolic being your alpha hydroxy acids, and salicylic acid really being the only beta hydroxy acid. Lactic acid is a larger molecule, so it's great for sensitive skin. It also has moisture retention qualities, so it's great for a drier, sensitive skin type. Glycolic is the smallest molecule of acids and really quite, I don't want to use the term aggressive, but it really gets down there. It's really, if you have serious sun damage, if you have a serious thickening or that sort of leathered skin, that's a great one. I've had great luck with glycolic. I've also overused glycolic, which is not pretty at all. Salicylic, we've talked about, is great for sensitivity, is great for oiliness, great for acne-prone skin. Then you have your enzymes, which are papaya, pineapple, pumpkin, and so on and so forth. There's others, of course. Enzymes, I have found, more on the formulating side than in the treatment room. In the treatment room, if I have a product that's working great, it's because it's formulated great. It is really tricky to stabilize in a formula enzymes. Enzymes are wonderful. They work just on the dry, dead surface cells, so they're great for a more sensitive, prone skin that doesn't have an allergy to that ingredient. But I found that a lot of formulations, they just don't work so well. If you found one that works, that's great, keep using it. It's just not my go-to. I do prefer a low-level acid, a lactic, or a salicylic for myself. Then you have things, washcloths. So many people are using washcloths, and that's great. You should be. It gets you a more thorough cleanse. It's removing your makeup. It's removing dead cells. But if you're doing that twice a day, every day, or even once a day, every day, that's a form of exfoliation. So you're not going to need to go in every single day then with acid toner or an acid mask. Some people I use sometimes muslin cloth. It is a little scratchy, which isn't the greatest word to use, but it just gives this really nice buffing effect. And I have great results with that when I use it a few times a week. Again, pepper all of these things in. Don't do them all at once. Don't do them every single day, twice a day. And play around. You know, one thing that I try to encourage my clients is don't read what it says on the back, which is also really hard for me with formulating my products. Is I have to put directions there. That's a guideline, that are guidelines, but like I said, everybody is so different that I really, really, really encourage people to play around with things. If it's not working, it doesn't necessarily mean, I should say if the product's not working, it doesn't necessarily mean that your skin is reacting badly to it. You could be overusing it, you could be underusing it, you could be using too much. So really play around with things. Don't leave it as the bottle said, I use this twice a day, every day. The Clarisonics also market it to be used twice a day, every day. My face would fall off if I used that. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if you do use the Clarisonic, use it as a once or twice a week facial treat. Make it part of your, like a mini at-home facial. Again, that's another form. No matter how gently you press, you're still moving bristles on your face. It's still another form of exfoliation. So that is my take on exfoliation. And make sure you don't over-exfoliate. You want to keep that surface nice and supple and protect it. Overexfoliation can lead to severe dehydration, transepidermal water loss, TOOL. You break down that barrier, the water comes through the skin in these channels, and all of a sudden it's coming to the surface and just evaporating because nothing's there to hold it. Which usually has people then overexfoliating again. It's sort of a vicious cycle. People see the dehydration lines on their skin, they feel dehydrated, and they think they need to get that dry, dead cell off. That's actually a huge curse of exfoliation. It's important, it's a must. Do not overdo it. The red, the irritated, the inflamed, the red bumps, the surface dehydration lines, that is all a sign to me of overexfoliation. It's very rare I get somebody in who has surface dehydration and has not overexfoliated or has not used the foaming cleanser. Those are the two culprits. So make sure you're exfoliating weekly, but maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. If it's something really gentle like a washcloth every day, that's fine. But again, make it work for you and play around with it. Play around with it, don't overuse it, and you will be glowing, I promise. I shouldn't sing. But again, until next time, if you have any questions, email, please, or simply just write your question in the comments below, or find me on Instagram, or Twitter, or Facebook, or Snapchat, and ask away. I plan on doing these at least once a week, if not more. I really want to help people get to the bottom of their skin woes and skin issues. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.